Australia has made it clear it wants Hong Kong to maintain a strong sense of autonomy after China condemned violent clashes between protesters and local authorities. Foreign Minister Marise Payne has told Sky News Australia does not support violent protest, but Hong Kong must listen to the views of its own community.
This is the new front in the pro-democracy battle against Beijing. Hundreds of protesters paralysing Hong Kong's public transport system, preventing peak-hour trains from leaving one of the city's busiest stations. It follows 8 weeks of violent clashes between police and protesters. What began as an uprising against a proposed extradition bill has resulted in more than 1 million people joining the 2-month campaign. Residents fighting against alleged heavy-handedness by police and Beijing interference in the semi-autonomous territory.
This has been a very difficult time in Hong Kong. It's difficult for a large Australian expatriate community, let alone those of the larger community there.
The Chinese government has denounced the pro-democracy protests, on Tuesday calling for forceful police action to end the unrest, even blaming Western forces for instigating some of the violence. There are also reports Beijing-sponsored groups accused of attacking demonstrators in Hong Kong and that the Communist Party is considering sending in its army. Australia's Foreign Minister telling Sky News Beijing must not interfere.
What we have seen work so productively and so well over many, many years now is the strong sense of autonomy that comes from the one country, two systems approach. And again, we would reinforce our support for that.
Minister Payne is expected to discuss the matter at this week's ASEAN Foreign Ministers Summit in Bangkok, as well as with the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Sydney this weekend, while more protests in Hong Kong are scheduled in the coming days. Brent O'Halloran, Sky News.